Right, cool. Everything's working. Vertical's looking good. I actually just changed the vertical layout because I completely forgot that YouTube has all of their little gizmos and stuff in the bottom right corner, which is exactly where my little PNG tuber was. So now I'm up here. Real quick, I'm actually gonna just move myself up a little bit just so you can kind of see Blender a little more. So what I was doing last time was I am making my first ever 3D model uh, of a character. I've made a few swords and a few locations before, but I have never made a person. And I got contracted to basically make a horror game by myself. Uh, so I've been using this opportunity to actually make humans and humanoids. So I basically just took the G-Man model from Half-Life 1 as a reference, and I de-triangulized him, so there's still some weird geometry on him. But I've been using him as a reference because this is going to be a very low poly PS1 style game. And today I'm going to try and finish up the head of this model and try to make it look at least passable. And then I'm going to spend some time uh, making some of these edges a lot smoother than others. Because as you can see, if I click off of G-Man, he's actually relatively smooth in most places aside from his collar and the trim of his coat because they actually marked that as sharp. Same thing with the most obvious one is the briefcase because they just wanted that to be a cube because what else is a briefcase is not a cube that carries stuff. This is for an upcoming horror game. We don't actually have a full title yet. We're pretty much thinking we're just going to call it The Salesman because what else are you going to call a game where a salesman is the main creature coming after you all the time? Um, for anyone who stopped by and saw the stream yesterday, Daryl's not going to be joining us, at least not for the first couple hours, which means that you guys get to watch me struggle way, way harder than I would if they were here with me. So this will be interesting, if literally nothing else, because I am not a 3D artist in the slightest. Like I said, I've only made a few 3D models pretty much in my entire life. I am mainly a programmer and designer. So this has been a struggle for me, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. And here's the real fun fact. I'm modeling a actual character, a human being. I have no background in anatomy. I know literally nothing. I am making this man off of pure vibes and nothing else. That's that's roughly neck shaped. I think I should probably scale. Let me do view, scale, shift Z. I'm actively trying to remember what I've been taught how to do this. Yeah, that's a neck. That's how necks work, I think. And then, so they make it pretty simplistic in the back. And I might kind of just copy that in all honesty. So jawline actually kind of comes up near the back, connects further back on the neck. And it's just basically a straight line. Oh, it actually peaks because they did that so that the hairline would actually have the V shape that it usually has. Honestly, if there's any 3D artists in the chat, I need someone to yell at me. I think honestly, that was what made yesterday's stream go so well for me, is that I am someone who I know I don't know things, and therefore it's actually super helpful when I just have a friend or random internet users basically be like, "Hey, you're bad at this actually." It's how I learn. Um that is a chin. Maybe here. Let me pull up my so I'm actually mainly referencing the Hat Man, or no, the Thin Man from Little Nightmares 2. So I'm referencing him, Hat Man, the like sleep paralysis demon, and also G-Man for like actual low poly. So most of the game he's gonna have his head tilted down, but I don't think best practice is actually to model in his head tilted down. I think it tends to be that's from the rig. You're gonna constantly see me go back and forth between this and the G-Man, because like for what he is and the era that he came out of, like especially from a distance, he looks pretty solid. Honestly, the biggest complaint and the thing that Daryl and I were really talking about yesterday was like they really just gave him a cube head and they did him dirty like that. So like how do they so what they do, they have the center of the chin, then it's basically just mirrored. So they actually did triangles for the chin. So the biggest thing is I'm basing anatomy off of how G-Man looks, which is probably not the best idea, in all honesty. But I do think I should start my jaw further back. So I'm actually going to undo this, and I'm actually going to go back and extrude from this line. I actually might want to move this vertex down first, because yikes. Yeah, I think that makes sense. How far do chins go out? I actually have no... Oh, he's leaning forward a lot more. So maybe I should grab you and you and just bring both of these forward a bit. That looks more like a neck, like an actual human. Crazy concept. And he's actually like, now that I'm no longer in line with him, it looks a little odd. So I'm kind of going off of vibes at this point. So I don't know how useful this reference will be. I could just I'm not going to copy him exactly, but I could literally just overlap them. I think that's about as good as it's going to get, honestly. So I'm kind of curious Did I at least start the neck in a reasonable... Yeah, no, that's fine. All right, cool. We are going to absolutely raw dog anatomy right now because I have no clue what I'm doing. Maybe a little bit. Yeah, I think that makes sense. I feel like Daryl's gonna enter the chat and just be like, James, what the hell is this? So now the real question is how I want the cheeks to connect. So I'm kind of feeling like I should... How bad is that gonna look? Terrible, actually. Absolute nightmare fuel, and not in the good way. I think that's about human head size. I don't know. Maybe a bit taller. So he's gonna have a hat, so I do want to actually just kind of end it maybe there. Then I'm actually gonna flatten all these values out. So what I want to do is take all of these. Oops. Guess who's a big dumb idiot who forgot to actually lock his access? Yeah. So that should be good for the sides, because you don't actually need... I don't know how much extra detail I want to add to this man. Because, like, G-Man is a cube, but he does still have an actual jaw. Where this guy most certainly does not. So I think I'm going to add, like, maybe 2 loop cuts to this. If my... What is it? Alt R? See, this is the real issue of not having Daryl here, is that they are my memory when it comes to what shortcuts are. Yeah, that should do. Let me, I don't need the ears. I don't want those Dumbo ears. Better than the hands, though. The hands were ginormous when I made them. Or not when they... Sorry, when I was modeling off of Hat Man, or Thin Man. I'm going to keep calling him Hat Man. I'm going to keep mixing up those two. We realized just how big this man's hands are. Like, absolutely gorilla-sized hands. Which was not great, to be perfectly honest with you, for what we were going for. Alright, let me grab these. And I'll scale them maybe here. Oh, did that not scale out? Hmm. Okay, I need this reference image off because I can't see. Ooh, that's gonna look odd. I need to bring this out and in line with what is already there. Not too far out, but like enough that maybe just maybe I can just do the vertex itself. And then you. Now the big question, because remember, I don't know anatomy in the slightest, is where does the jaw end? I think it should be a little lower than that, maybe here. Okay. Scale this out. Oh. Oh, it is not. Oh, because it's based off the current selection. That's probably why it got messed up last time. Let's go back to the median point. Yeah, that should scale a bit better. Okay. This guy is having a really big head at the moment. First thing I want to do is pull this back. But other than that, I think that's actually a pretty decent head shape. Now I'm gonna have to see more once I actually close it up with an actual face. That looks about right. And it looks like the ear will kind of be projected here, which is about where I want it. I do want to move this in a bit. And if I can, I want these vertices to be equal on the y-axis. So I want to do scale y. Yeah. Honestly, the biggest thing is just remembering what buttons do what. So I probably should start with the face, but I really want to make the hat. I'll start with the face. I know I should. I'm also going to reduce this guy's neck because he's kind of got like... It looks like he has a really thick neck. Yeah, this guy works out. This guy's buff as hell. So I think first thing... So I should actually switch to edge. And then... I should be able to scale it. Probably just on... Should I just do... I feel like I should only really do the z-axis. Or not the z-axis, I'm thinking Unity. The y-axis? Maybe X, I don't know. I just need to make it thinner first. Let's try that. It could use a little bit more. Maybe here. And then a little bit on the Y. What did I create new geometry like a stupid little guy? I might have. Yeah, I think I did. That should be about fine. And hopefully it didn't affect my shoulders too much. Nope. Cool. And then I need to tighten this up. Specifically, you look really, really far out. Right? Because that kind of should be under the skull. I know you can't see it because I'm using a PNG tuber, but I'm like actively feeling my bald ass head, trying to like figure out how skulls work. This point should probably be much lower. Probably all of these, actually. You could look up a reference. I could. You're so right, Holly. I absolutely could look up a reference, but then I wouldn't be doing things based off of pure vibes. And where's the fun in that? I will look up a reference later. I just want to try to get most of the shape because I don't love this guy's face. This is this is your vaguely racist grandpa. And like while that is horrifying in a different way, it is not who I would, put as the poster child of a horror game. Okay, how do I want to go about getting the face started? So I think first thing, I think this chin could come out a little bit further. I could just start. That feels like a bad way to do it. Yeah, this is where it's going to start falling apart for me, if I'm being honest. Not so much in like, I don't know what I want it to look like, it's just trying to think how it should all connect to each other. Hmm. I guess I could just start with vibes and then go from there, to be honest. Or I could also just see what happens if I just grab these front planes and just like meh. So I do also want to grab this vertice. I should have auto merge on. Cool. That is what I wanted. Then I need to have this be the active element here, and then scale 0. Yippee, they're now connected. So I'm not actually going to have as much detail as, if you can call it detail, as the G-Man, because unlike the G-Man, I'm not going to have lip syncing in this. So I'm curious. I don't really know if I want to have this protruding upper lip because this is going to be a big smile across his face. You wanna know what? Vibes have gotten me this far. I'm gonna see how far that will take me before I hate everything that I've created. So a question I have to ask myself is how do I want to do the nose? Because it should be a triangle. So I do have this guy. So my guy. Oh, hey Ed. Thanks for hopping in chat. I appreciate it. It's very nice having people to talk to and like think about instead of just like going into my own thoughts. It's actually really helpful yesterday because I had Daryl here teaching me how to use Blender like a little baby. All right, how do I want to go about this? I think this is gonna be stupid. Of course, so the red background for Blender is giving me strong mouthwashing vibes. Honestly, yeah, I really needed it uh when I was using this reference image of the Thin Man from Little Nightmares 3. We just got to the point where we literally could not see him against the gray background, so we just needed to start using this. I really should play mouthwashing. I was going to during GDC, and then I just couldn't. Would chat more, but I'm ironing my seam allowance down right now on the skirt. Holly, would you like to explain to chat what a seam allowance is? Because I have no clue what that is. I actually had to go to court today, um, and I was like about to leave, and Leah had to stop me and be like, "Hey, you know you should iron your shirt. It's how much seam your parents give you every month." Oh, you're so right. Am I still in active element mode? I am. Yippee. Uh-oh. Did I make extra geometry on accident? Many such cases. Yeah, I'm gonna turn off this reference because I think it's now getting in the way of me actually seeing what I'm doing. So seam allowance is the extra space you leave when you're sewing your seams. Okay, that makes sense. You doing real world UVs right now? Oh, that sounds terrible. I need a break from my own programming to see your thing. Oh yeah, no, that's totally fair. I'm also gonna turn up the cat the timer on how long this chat lasts because like it's really gonna be one message at a time at this point, and I'm not paying that much attention to chat, so I'm gonna just keep missing it. So give me literally like I don't know 20 seconds to get that. Let me do like I'll do 2 minutes and then I'll time out. There we go. All right. Oh yeah, this is also Holly's break from lighting. Yeah, I mean, hey, it'll be fun watching me lose my mind about a subject I have literally zero background in. I did the required 3D course that RIT requires you to do as a game developer minor, or sorry, undergrad. But man, other than that, I have not done like anything since then. And it's rough. I've been really bad at especially just remembering hotkeys. I think the hotkeys are really what's like killing me with all this. Blender is nightmare fuel to you? I mean, what do you typically use? Oh wait, no, that's sorry. I thought that was Holly for a moment. Yeah. It's scary. I mean, it's really fun learning new things because I that's honestly why I love making games and I love like trying new things in games. But I get it, man. It is tough to like get used to new software in general. And then if you're already not an artist by trade, like me, you're going off of absolute vibes for a thing you don't quite understand. Can I? Yo, someone brought the emotes. I really do hope I can get to the point where I'm a Twitch affiliate because I do have some absolute banger reaction gifs of myself just from people in my capstone just taking the just least flattering pictures of me. And that's what makes them good. I think I still have do I have the James Pog somewhere? It's really awful, but where man, I'll have to find it or I'll have to ask Boxy. Man, I'm ugh. My voice is actually killing me. I think my tea is ready, so I'm actually gonna grab this real quick. Can I add legally distinct Garfield? How about you add Garfield Dragon? I don't think I have that on my PC. I need it. For people that don't know, Holly and I did PS4 and PS5 development together, and during this time, this group developed a minor obsession with Garfield and would just draw him everywhere. And I think the absolute peak of it was Holly or Green Beams in the chat just turning Garfield into this sassy dragon. If you can find that image, please send it to me because like it's kind of peak, and I think however many people are watching deserve to know. Found the image on Google. Oh, okay. Here, one sec. Don't know what. We're gonna derail the stream for a second. Garfield Dragon, please mind my terrible spelling. What on earth is this? Oh god, there it was. Yeah, I remember you drew this in the console lab. This was terrifying. I think this lasted in that console lab for about a year, and it was just sitting there. And I think it lasted past that because I remember some people in the class after us 2 years. That's insane. I remember people coming up to me because they knew I was in the console class and they're like, James, what is this? Oh, right, the poster. I do remember the poster. That was fun. Terrifying. Is that the gaping dragon? Yo. Okay, I'm gonna stop looking up nightmare nightmare fuel for me right now. Anyways, I don't remember how Blender works. How do I add a new ooh. I'm gonna do this in literally the worst possible way and no one's gonna stop me. Anyway. How the fuck do noses work? I think I think that's probably going to be the question of the day is just how do noses work? How do I make them? So this is definitely way too far out. It's probably like here. Would the reference help at all? About. Yeah, that seems like about the size of a nose. Roughly. I, I'm curious if I could literally... How bad would it look if I just took this, moved it up to about where the brow would be, and then just like did a stupid little... Is it locked to Z? It might be locked to Z. Okay, well, that was a bad idea. Oh, it's just straight up not moving. Oh, it's probably because it's in the center of it, and therefore the mirroring doesn't actually want to do that. So let me delete that vertice. Maybe I should try it with this one instead. And then from here, I can attach it. And then fill in the faces. That's nose-shaped for being semantic. I'll make it look better, but I just want to get to the point where this thing actually has like a face to it, and then I'll make it look good. That's kind of my philosophy with like everything is get to the point where it's done, like you actually have a thing, and then make it good. It helps a lot, especially with like programming and design in general, is that it's never going to be good first try. Yes, sir. Make it exist first. That's kind of been this whole model, honestly. It still needs a lot of work, but at least it's there. How do I want to go about doing this? Should probably just grab these faces, extrude up, lock it on the Z. How bad is that? Ooh. Well, then I can just actually that's a very, very flat face. Yeah, let's add some little more roundness to it. And this should be, yeah, it's about where the eyes are supposed to be. Cheap view. Can you kill this guy? Get out of here. I've only really done streaming for maybe a month or so, and I'm already so sick of these bots. Because why would I want to essentially what I'm assuming is buy viewers? That's not the point. I hate this whole concept of like pay to win in society or pay to like create a thing. The creating and the doing is the point. Like, I'm not trying to do this because I'm like, ooh, I want to be so popular on through streaming, but not actually go through the effort of streaming. Also, like the streamers won't help. I mean, at most, or the viewers won't help. At most, it will maybe get me to affiliate, but like it is a form of earning revenue. But if they're just bots, I don't think you're actually earning revenue. Or if you are, it's probably not as much as you're paying to get them to have viewers. And like it could give you better visibility on Twitch, but visibility on Twitch is already bad. Like it's not gonna help you that much unless you're like, I don't know, if you're getting yourself over maybe like 50 plus viewers, even then, depending on the category, it'll put you near the top, and then you can maybe stop paying for them. I'm trying to even understand what the goal is, which is I assume that's the goal. But if I'm being perfectly honest, if you genuinely believe that you are like good enough to get monetization and to have a viewership, then you'd be able to prove it by just going and making content. Now, mind you, you might have to actually be in a less competitive environment because, like, if you're streaming Fortnite, if your goal in life is to stream Fortnite and make a bunch of money off of it, yeah, maybe you would need to buy some bots, but I'm just trying to have some fun doing some game dev stuff. Okay, I'm gonna bring these in line with each other, and then I think I'm gonna start modeling the hat. That sure is a face. I would think Twitch also measures active chat as one of the metrics to feature you. Probably. The goal is to scam you. I agree. I think there might be a legitimate service, but I think it very much preys on people who have this mindset that they are good enough to have an audience and that they're just not getting it because they're like hidden in the algorithm. Which like I've done enough research on streaming to just be like, you just have to make content in an area that isn't oversaturated. And if you're not willing to do that and not willing to put in the time to do that, then maybe streaming isn't for you in the first place. All right, how do I want to do this hat? I guess first of all, let me I want to see if I remember how to do this. Because Daryl taught me. Ooh. That's not good. That's not what I wanted. Congrats, Holly. Very proud. Why did it do that? Do I have clipping on? Oh, it's just basing it off of this? Is that why it's doing it? I've never had it, Hmm. Okay, I'm not gonna play with this too much. There's some weirdness going on. I think it just ends up turning the whole thing. I'll maybe ask Daryl. Does Backstab have a community Discord? We do. It is currently labeled Echoes in the Mist because that was the initial one. I will probably change the branding of it because especially if I end up doing this a lot more and we're known for a lot more than just our one capstone game, uh, then yeah, I'll give this a better name. There should be a link from Twitch or YouTube, which I know you're watching from Twitch right now. There should be a link in the description. And if there's not, I'm just a silly guy who did not do my job. Anyways, I'm gonna pull this, I guess, a little bit forward and then inwards. Ooh, not forwards. Forwards looks weird. Okay. I guess it is hat time. What hat do I want to what hat do I want to give this man? What? Men's hat. Okay. Did they just wear, is that a fedora? I don't know what yeah. Not sure I want to give him a fedora, but it would be fitting. Give him a bowler? Oh, that'd be funny. Oh, I probably need to look in bowler hat. Oh my God, what is that? Oh, it's Clash of Clans. This guy scared me. I did not like him. I am not a fan of this guy. You. Anyways. I'd like something with a bit of a bigger rim. I think the bowler hat would be funny. But I want something that would, like, cast a shadow. He is so smooth. It's weird. I appreciate the bald representation, though. Even if he is purple. Maybe him and Thanos would get along. Anyways, I'm gonna move on. I don't like looking at that thing. I am kind of curious what a bowler hat would look like on this guy. I'm gonna start with the rim because the rim's gonna kind of remain the same regardless. So let me go to edges. Guess who pressed the wrong button? It's me. Tee-hee. And then I should extrude locking in not the Z direction. Ooh, that's not good. I don't like that. We're just gonna... How bad is it? Ooh, it's terrible. Can I... James, I'm not gonna tell you how to make your game as a game dev. Hat model his bald head and then make a bunch of hat models and randomize them. Look, maybe, maybe. I will put it under consideration if for no other reason than I do think that's pretty funny. But I think randomized hats right now, I can barely model Oh, do I know why it was fucking up? Because it's based off of active element still. Give me the median point. That should scale a bit better. Sure. It's a start. You know, that would be pretty funny just to attach a flat plane. I do actually want to model this though, just to kind of get used to it. Like more than anything, this is mostly supposed to be like a learning exercise for me cuz I want to know more about art and how to do it and how to communicate about it. Because one thing that I found that I've really struggled with as a game dev is I'm actually like terrible at jargon. Like I literally there's times where I feel like I can't have a conversation with someone simply because like I forgot the word that I'm supposed to use as like a game dev. And it gets even worse once I'm talking to artists because I'm like, "Ooh, I think this thing would be cool, but I don't know what it's called." And when you can't properly discuss it, it's bad. I've had some terrible conversations with artists where they just simply don't understand what I'm saying. What do you like that one scary movie police officer whose hat got bigger in every shot? What are you talking about? I know what you're talking about with scary movie, but I have no clue about this bit that you're talking about. Scary movie top hat? Oh, this yeah. That'd be kind of funny. I have not seen it. I have not watched Scary Movie or any of the scary movies. I know there's several. Look, you need to understand that the majority of my time spent on this earth is making games and then actively dying to support myself to make games. Can't do it. You gotta consume media to make good games. Can't do it in a vacuum. I think that's totally true. Um, I wouldn't even necessarily say consume media. I would just say that you need to have hobbies. Do I know what? It would convince me to watch stupid movies with you, to be honest. I think one of the hardest things recently with just like really putting my all into game dev and also like struggling to survive as a broke ex-college student now is really just being like, wow, I didn't realize how few hobbies that I had because once you know, was no longer able just to spend money on like dumb stuff anymore, it was really difficult to like do stuff other than like go for nice walks. Which like I definitely enjoyed getting out and going in nature. Um, but most of what I actually do is just hike, and I'm not quite sure how to translate that into a game that I would find interesting to make. Because games have definitely been made that are interesting. One day I'm just going to end up making a walking sim. Ooh. Look, I would not be opposed to making a frog catching sim. Not gonna lie. If I just give him a stupid top hat, money bags over here. I feel like his face is really small. I might just have to scale up his whole head, to be perfectly honest with you. Ooh, how am I gonna turn this into something that is not a disgusting Engon? I guess I could just do triangles. That was a really stupid question, actually. Um, how would I do that, though? I think I would need to extrude and then, like, scale 0? Um, that's not horrendous. That was kind of an accident, but like that actually would kind of help with getting more of a hat shape. Let me turn off. Which reminds me, I need a new movie like Show Rex because I'm stuck in a pit of I don't know what I want to watch. Oh God. What have I been watching? Weirdly enough, like just recently, Leah was watching the Lilo and Stitch series, which I know we've talked about Lilo and Stitch on stream before, and I love just how much of an autistic icon Lilo is. Um, that's actually like a relatively solid series. Yes, with the sandwich alien. I think it was Leroy. Yeah. No, no, no. It was no, it wasn't Leroy because Leroy was Oh God, what was because Leroy was this guy. I'm pretty sure. What's his name? He's this guy. I forget his name though. But like that wasn't actually legitimately good. Experiment 625. That was actually like a legitimately good series. I was actually enjoying it. Ruben. Yeah, that checks out for the sandwich guy. Yeah, no, I was really enjoying that series. She's also she's been watching The Lion Guard. I've been Do you know what The Lion Guard is? It's a like sequel to Lion King, but before the second movie. It feels very weird. I watched the first episode and I was like, why is there like actual legitimate real magic in this show? It felt very odd at first. It's still a pretty good show. I think it's definitely something that like if I was a kid who had just watched Lion King and it came out, I think I would be like in love with it. But as a 20 something year old man who has not really cared about the Lion King in oh my god, I'm making this hat terrible. I'm gonna just undo this. I've not really cared about the Lion King that much in probably a decade. It's fine. Question: have you seen Lion King 1.5? As a little kid, yes. Yes, I did. I only really remember it was Timon and Pumbaa basically just taking crack shots at the actual movie. Okay, let me like take a look at my man. Ooh. So thing number one is I don't like how his head attaches to the hat. Yeah, and the hat is really really tiny on his head. First thing first with the hat, I'm literally just gonna grab all you guys and lift this up. God dang. I'm going to grab the hat. Eh. Just as a start. It's still really small. I think part of that is just because this is really small. Like this entire section needs to be expanded. No, not you. Uh, ooh. Okay, maybe too much on the forehead, but the rest was fine. Dropping for lunch, have fun. Thanks. I appreciate you stopping by. I'll be here literally all week. Maybe I shouldn't have the hat share the same seam as the head. Oh, I'll definitely still be around. I'm probably going to be streaming to at least 4 p.m. My voice is kind of like messed up today, so I'm not going to strain it because I am planning on doing this pretty much every day. But yeah, I'll definitely still be around if you're just going to go grab lunch. Yeah, I might. I'm probably just going to go back on the hat, especially because I don't like that the hat and the forehead share the same vertices right now. Oh. Why did you guys not delete? All right. And then let's grab the loop and get rid of the edges. I should have done the vertices. Teehee. Yeah, let me get this shape a bit better. So I think one thing, because I don't want to add too much extra geometry, is I want to raise this up a bit. So bring out the brow a bit. And then I want to get this head not looking dumb. Which I think if I kind of grab these, pull this out a little more. Actually, I didn't need this last one. I just need these two. Let's see. What is it? It's S Shift Z 0. Oops, that actually, no, because I didn't do the active point. But yeah, this guy's looking a bit wonky. Actually looks like he has a beard just because of how I made the jaw. And then where does this connect? Because this point looks really, really odd. Let's do like 0.5 maybe. And I also want to raise up this point. I don't know. I think the head is still, yeah, it's small. I think that's honestly one of the big issues with it, is that it's literally just tiny. I don't want to move the neck though. So I might either have to do a loop cut, depending on how bad this looks. Okay. Alright, I don't want to do it from the active element. Cool, let's see how terrible it is if I literally just... Oh, God. Oh, it's horrifying. Ooh. Oh, it's also based off my view. I don't want it based off my view. Oh, wait, actually, oh, no. I'm just basing it off my view. Um... It didn't really mess up the front. It did definitely mess up... Ooh, the chin is really far out. Let me, how do I want to do this? Shift X? Yeah. Ooh. When I say Shift X, I meant Shift Y. So S, Shift Y. Oh, okay. I'm just gonna undo real quick. F, Shift Y. I'm really honestly at this point just really trying to remember what my bindings are. I'm gonna have to adjust the nose, but that looks a bit better size-wise. Let me fix the nose a bit. Jaw actually isn't that bad. I am gonna move, I think, these points back a little bit. Too much. It could still be bigger. See, I'm afraid though that if I keep doing this, I'm gonna just end up with the point that it's literally just gonna be a giant head again. I do want it to be a little bit taller too, because I really want this guy to be very long in his proportions. Let's see if I can. Okay, he is too flat. I want to unsquish his face, at least from a distance. Let me and then with the hat, kind of hard to tell because the chin is really really low right now. Like this way more looks like he has a beard, which is not the intent. I just want him to have like a long looking face, which this does achieve, but not in the way I want. So I want to move this up. It's really hard to tell because there's no shading on him. Chin needs to come out a bit. The whole face is a little flat in general, including the back of the head. But like shape-wise, or like size-wise, it's a lot better than what it was previously, I think. I'm curious how much detail they put into his face. Like, quite a lot. I think how they did the nose also makes a lot of sense. Because they actually had it be a flat plane in the front. Which might be the way to go about it. How does it meet is the question. So they just have a flat quad here. So that it actually meets in the forehead, which is I think is interesting. I don't know if I want to add that much detail to it. Oh, why are you... There we go. I guess I could do it if I really wanted to. Whatever. I'm gonna keep... Nope, too much. I'm gonna keep editing what I have, at least for a little bit. Also, he has way too long of a nose. I don't know. I know Holly's still in the chat. How do you think this looks? Like before the hat comes in, because the hat should start about where these vertices are. Maybe a little bit lower. So just for context, like I'm not adding really any facial details because pretty much everything to like the tip of the nose is going to be obscured by shadow. His chin's a little weird. See, that makes more sense. That's something I need. Due to the vertices underneath. True. Let me grab these guys. I think if I just brought these down to like here, maybe? You think that looks better? Now that he actually has like a chin that has a bottom up to it. I'm also gonna push up his nose a bit. One, because it looks a little long, and two, I want to leave. God, come on, get over here. I basically want to leave the majority of like this portion of his face just for the texture. That's going to be a giant smile. I might bring out the nose a little bit more like here. Maybe bring up this vertice. And I'm gonna bring you in, make this a little more circular. Uh, this looks a little high. I want to bring this down a little bit. Oops. Bring this down a bit. And then from there, I think I'll make the hat. There's some weird geometry here as well. Let me, why do you look goofy? Actually, it might not even be because of the back vertices. It might just because this is like... Maybe if I do that instead. Yeah, I think that's decent. Now, I guess the question I have to ask is, if I take him in scale, because this guy is supposed to be tall. He's supposed to be like, I think I've measured him out to like 7 or 8-ish feet. Yeah, that should still be enough head that like you can make out some details of it. I think that'll be good. Especially once I get to the texturing and like most of the face is covered by that smile, I think it'll play with the proportions in a way that I think will work well. So I guess it's hat time. So I think the one thing I'm not going to do with this new hat is that I'm not going to have the hat connect to these vertices. It will add some more polygons to it, but I think it'll be worth it to not actually have it like connect to the head and be weird when you scale it. So let's try doing this again. Then we're going to scale it just out. And then active element, grab this, scale 0. Nope. Z, SZ 0. It's terrible, and it's beautiful, and I will fix all of this actually. Actually, this might be one where I think if I deselect this one, this might be good for the circle. Why would you do it like that? I don't know if that, here, one sec. I think, honestly, that should be fine. Not size-wise, obviously. Giant hat. But I think now if I go back to vertice mode, if I were to do that, make sure that they're same vertice. Cool. Just making sure that those vertices are actually connected along the mirror. All right, cool. And then, see, now I'm kind of curious how I want to connect them back, because I don't want to scale the hat from these, because last time that made the head look really weird. So let me grab these, median point scale. I don't love where that median point is. 3D cursor should be a little bit better. Ooh. Nope. Okay, I guess I'm just going to end up scaling it per axis because I think that's just going to have better results. Oh, why are you guys not moving? Interesting. That is a really tiny hat. Oops. Okay. So I want this to come down a bit. Let me go to vertices. So I want the hat to come down over the eyes a bit. Actually, wait. There's a better way to do this. I should actually take these. And because I remember how to do stuff on occasion, if I rotate them, how does that look? Still kind of goofy, not gonna lie. Maybe I should just finish up how I want the hat to look. Let's just do something like this. Scale it to... Oh god, how do I want to do this? I think I'm gonna... It's gonna be a little tedious. But I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to scale each one of these individually to their, like, corresponding... Oops, nope. There we go. I'm sorry. Oh, because it's not active point. I'm gonna lose it. This is why I'm, like, honestly not... I feel like I'm not suited for art, is I just, like... 3D art specifically. So I'm just so bad at specifically remembering what each individual hotkey is in the order that you're supposed to hit them to achieve what you want. And I guess this isn't necessarily a hotkey issue, but just remembering that you need to change active element because this is not something that is going to be consistent with how you scale individual things really, like, gets me in a way that I don't even know how to describe. All right, last one. All right. I think, do I just want to fill in this hat and then see where it goes from there? I think that might be how I want to do it. Let's go to edges, go around here, E, Z. And I don't know if I want to just fill it. I might just fill it in and then figure it out from there. This hat, again, looks really tiny on his head. I think one thing I want to do is I do actually want to bring down the forehead. And I guess by extension, that means I need to bring this down. Why did you do that? Why must you be like this? There we go. Actually, I should just bring this whole thing down. What am I doing? Yeah. No. Get out of here. I'm gonna lose it. I hate when it does that. This hat looks horrendous. Um, oh boy. See ya, Holly. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. All right. Anyways, let's go to here. I need a drink so bad. My throat's actually really starting to hurt. There's a um there's a very solid chance that I might end the stream like an hour early or so. Maybe even two, because my voice is really starting to hurt. I forget how knife tool works. Teehee. How do I wanna yeah. There we go. And then if I just add a that's not gonna work. Man, I really don't remember. I guess I can actually right, Daryl was telling me about this. I can actually do this fill, and then I just created an Ngon, but I can basically do this. Which then turns it into a bunch of triangles, which makes it actually like nice for the computer to render. Yeah. Now that does mean that I don't have the any real details that I can work with on this hat to make it anything other than flat on the top. But I also don't really intend for you to see this character from the top. Well, maybe I should still make it look good just in case there is a scenario where you're like looking down at him through a window. So I want to, if I can, I want to first of all kind of tilt this whole thing downwards. Actually, let me do vertices instead. Vertices will be a little bit cleaner to grab. So this. I don't want the forehead one or you. Okay. Let me lock in my view, rotate. Oh, right, that does run into the issue there. So I'll have to adjust the forehead a bit as well. But that is a better angle than it was before. And then I guess I should also probably raise these two at the very least. And yeah, that makes it look cleaner. Now that it's actually angled down. You don't tend to wear hats perfectly straight. And I want to now give this hat a little more of an actual shape and direction. So if I do here-ish, I need to bring you back out. And bring you down. And then I probably want to bring in... So how big is this hat? I do want to say, I do actually want... Oh. This is too high. I do not need you clipping. Please and thank you. I do also think that these vertices need to be scaled up a bit, because I don't think it looks great when it's like the same size as the head. Let me do median point, scale, ooh. Maybe more about here. Hmm. Now that's too much. Yeah, that should be fine. And then I probably want a bit of a curve up on the hat, because right now it's very flat. So I want this to not be so weirdly jagged. And I should be able to take this, move it all down just a little bit. Actually, I'll move it down in the front and then maybe a little bit up towards the back. I think that might look a bit better. Oh, I need to do vertices. Hee hee. Now I need to double check how these hats look, because if I remember correctly, they're actually much shorter in the back than they would be in the front. Maybe not much shorter, but like... What does that look like? That looks bad. I think maybe these two and this I could maybe I don't know. I need to check these hats. I need a reference. See, this is all going to be from, like, front angle, isn't it? No, that's a pretty even circle. Or I guess oval is probably a better. Yeah. That's more what I'm looking for. So I guess probably the big thing, oh God, is that I'm trying to make it circular when it should be ovular? Is ovular a word? I actually have no clue. I mean, aside from in reference to, you know, biology. So yeah, what if I try to make this a bit more like this? And that would mean that this needs to come forward. That's not forward. Down so it stays in line. And then if I drag this in, that might be enough to give it the shape that I want. This now needs to be forward a bit, I think. That's getting pretty close to what I want it to be. Now, I think the scale of it is still weird. I think actually the entire hat could just be a bit bigger. Definitely taller. Let me see if I can just drag this thing up. Maybe if I'm feeling real goofy, what if I do this? That looks weird. This I might be even able to drag down even more. Because I want to be able to get this this like double peak tucked shape that they kind of had where like, yeah. I could also just add, this is more what I'm talking about. This is like the Indiana Jones hat. It just occurred to me that on my vertical stream, I've been looking at the wrong side for like at least an hour now. So womp womp on that one, to be honest. Okay, let me like, what if I just take just all of this and just scale it? Well, not all of this. Get out of here. I don't want you. It's making it worse. Okay, one sec. Technical difficulties. Let's do this and then just like say screw it. Boom. No way that just worked. That actually might have just worked. I think now it's a little too far out. But other than that, I think if I just drag this here. Ooh, nope, undo. Drag you here. And I do need to drag these points down again. But as long as there's not like any weird... Oh, there's another weird overlap. I just want to make sure that the edges aren't like clipping through each other, which it looks like they currently are, which is not ideal. So I want to grab pretty much all these vertices and just bring them slightly down. But honestly, for a first attempt, I'm pretty happy with it. I think if I bring... That looks a little bit better. I think you need to be a little bit down, a little bit in. And then this needs to actually be an oval instead of whatever it currently is. Okay, let's see. Once I do that, I feel like I could probably raise the back a bit. And lower front. And I also want to bring in specifically this one. I think that looks about right, to be honest. So now I gotta do UV unwrapping, which is gonna make me want to vomit, actually. I mean, I should maybe tweak the face a bit. I think I want, if I move this in and up a bit, so I want to thin out this face. I think it looks a little too wide at the moment. Yeah. Okay, cool. Let me tab out and do right click auto smooth. Ooh, no, I don't love that. Just shade smooth. Oh God. Okay. So actually, I think the hat looks pretty good smooth. The body definitely did not fare as well. Um, let's see if I shade flat. Actually, I want to start with, it shaded smooth. And then I want to see if I tab back in, go into vertice mode. Oh boy. Did I say vertice mode? I meant edge mode. Did I get them all? Nope. Can I mark these as... Mark as sharp. So I want these to be sharp. And then same on the other side. So, okay. Daryl was actually going to show me this yesterday. So I kind of hope they tune in at some point and are very proud of me because I need validation, actually. Because I feel like a very smart boy right now. Okay, it was right click, mark as sharp. Okay, so I got the coat. Anything else that I think should be sharp? Maybe like under the nose. Actually, maybe specifically this. If I mark this as sharp, yeah, that makes the nose a bit more clear, which I like. Um, and then I think if I mark these as sharp, that might look better. Then there's a much clearer distinction between the hat and the guy. Okay, turn that off. I think that works. Okay, where else should I mark sharp? Where did they mark sharp? I guess is also a good question. Ooh, around the neck. That makes sense. Because, you know, that's the end of a suit. So, like, it would make sense that this would be marked sharp. And then if I... Yeah, that makes it much clearer that that's the neck. And then probably here at the pants. All right, cool. I'm actually going to real quick take some screenshots so that I can actually send what he looks like to my friend. I'm also going to turn off G-Man. I don't need to show him an objectively better model than mine. I'm just gonna keep yapping because I'm currently trying to find a Discord server that I am stupid. There we go. I have caps lock on. All right, cool. I might end up just calling it a day right now because I feel like anything I do past this point will be not great, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm curious if they did they sharpen his jawline? They didn't. They did sharpen his shoulders, which I think honestly might be a good play. So if I did, I guess this one marked as sharp, and maybe this as well. I don't think that made much of a difference, to be honest. Though maybe if I then also include these two. I'm sorry, did I mark this as seam instead of sharp? I think I did. Yep. Mark sharp. Okay, now what does that look like? Yeah, I think that works well. I think then I'd also... Do I want... like this marked sharp? Hmm. I don't think so. I think that looks a little weird. Anything else that I think would look better sharp? Maybe directly under the nose. Like this one. No. I didn't like that. Okay, if that's the case, I think I might, I think I'm happy with this model, to be honest. So now I gotta do, now I gotta do UV unwrapping. That'll be a, that'll be a fun one. I think the easiest one to start with would probably just be to start here under the hat right here. So if I grab these, mark as seam. And then I also want to, I think, mark this as a seam. Actually, no, I don't want to do this. I think I actually want this line here. Oh, there's some weird geometry there. I actually might first cut into this. I know Daryl tends to prefer quads, but I think at least for getting a decent seam, I think it might be better if I do it such that this lines up pretty exactly. Because that way I get a nice clean line for the seam, which would make textures a lot easier. Especially when you're like me and terrible at textures. Yeah, let's mark this as a seam. And then pretty much just the whole neck is a pretty obvious one. Actually, I guess before I continue marking, I wanted to make the collar. So let me make the collar for how did they do it? I think they literally just took a plane. Let's see. Yeah. So they just extruded it out from the neck. They did it in triangles, which that does make sense. That checks out. So let me actually, I think I'm going to do that as well. Let me do this. Do a funny little extrude. Oh no, I should do it from here. Eye position, yeah. I'll do this. Then another extrude. And then I will connect these 2 points. I do believe it's, yeah, it's on active element still, so scale 0, cool. How much depth do they? give it, not too much. And then let me fill in this face. And they have another one connecting to that point, shooting outwards. That forms, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So back to vertices, and then we'll just take this, extrude it out, extrude it back, and scale 0. Move this down. I'll fill that in. And then I think I also want to do this and then fill this in. So this should then form... Ooh, actually, no, I don't want to do that. I don't think. So I think from here, what I want to do is just extrude out from the neck. So if I do this, essentially, let me see if I do that, do it from median point, scale out, and then move it back down. And now if I connect this vertex to this one, oops, nope, because I'm not in the median point anymore. Gotta remember that. So active element, scale, and then I can kind of do that exact same thing, but downwards. So let me do that exact thing. Let me do this, grab these ones, extrude Z down, sure. And then all I really have to do now is go back to vertice, U, scale 0, thank you. And move you down. Ooh, that's really down. Ooh. So now I just gotta fix it up a bit, to be honest. So how far out do I want it to go? Maybe there? Does that still look like a collar? Doot, 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 doot. Yeah, those can go way, way down. So I'm actually gonna pull it back even more on both of these. So I want it to the point that I can just kind of tuck this vertice away. Yeah, okay. Let me zoom back out. Tab out of edit mode. I want it to pop up a bit more in the back, not like that though. I want basically this line pulled in. And I want this line up a bit more because I want this to, let's see, do that and then bring you down and in. And that should kind of look like a collar on a shirt. It's not perfect. I don't love it. But honestly, if I then maybe if I were to bring this up a bit, and I think I might want to scale it in, to be honest. Because I want it a little bit closer to the neck. So let me grab my median point, scale, Shift Z, and pull it in just like a little bit. Yeah. And that gives a pretty decent look. Okay, then let me mark this as sharp. And probably this is sharp as well. Let's double check because I want to check my reference. That should do it. Maybe not. I don't actually think I want. Let me go into wireframe. I don't think I want these sharp though. Because this is supposed to be what's connected to the actual shirt. And so I don't necessarily... Yeah, I think that works well, honestly. I may want to maybe bring specifically this vertex in a bit. I don't know if that makes much of a difference, to be honest with you. Yeah. I think that starts to get the main idea of what this guy is supposed to look like pretty well, to be honest. Especially given that I'm doing this on my own, I'm actually very surprised that this has been coming out as well as it has been. Yeah, let me make that nose a little more pronounced. And I might even take this hat down again. I don't love exactly how it looks right now. I'm curious if I just drag it all down a little bit. No, I don't like that either. It might just be the rotation. What if I was to go here? No. I want to bring you back a little bit because that looks a little weird. But I think, actually, if I bring all of you up a little bit. And I want this to be raised a little. Yeah, that should be fine. Yeah. Cool, that's pretty much my first ever person. Very low poly. But yeah, look at that. Crazy. Alright, I guess I gotta go back to marking seams now. Why does he have a little... Why are you there? Let me dissolve that. Because that doesn't need to be there. This one I could... Wait. Let me bring that out a bit. Give him a little more of a butt. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. This can also go. This does not need to be here. Any other little weird oddities that I want to get rid of while I'm looking at it? The shoes look really weird, and I don't remember how to fix them. I know Daryl was talking about them last time, but I don't know.
Come on. Josh, come on. Come on, Josh. Come on.
Josh has been asking to go out, but he doesn't want to go.
Josh, come on. Dude.
Why are you like this?
Josh, come here.
Josh, go. Go. Why is he such an idiot?
Or do you need food?
He might want food, to be honest. Is that what he wanted? Nope, he's still staring at you. What a goofy dog. Mm-hmm. Should probably bring this down a little bit. It looks really, really brick-like right now. Actually, I probably want to bring this in and then down. Yeah, that actually looks a lot more like shoes now. Instead of a somehow even more off-brand Cybertruck. All right, cool. Anyways, back to cutting seams, I guess. So, let me turn on this. So first of all, this should very much be its own seam. Mark as seam. I feel like I am very happy because I do actually feel like I'm learning a lot about this because this was something that I was forgetting constantly last time I was doing this. Where would I want? I guess I could just continue the shoulder seam. I can never speak. It's a miracle that I am even halfway coherent when I'm streaming. So if I do this, I think that'll give me a pretty decent seam to work with. Nope, not that one. Okay, I think that's all of them. Yeah, and that gets me across the arm. Oh, I need to then bring it back up. So I guess the question is, do I want to have it perfectly divided? And then there might be a seam. No, I think that makes sense to have it here, essentially. Yeah, here, and then I gotta finish off with this. This is right in the armpit, looks like. Yeah. Oh, no. 3D views kind of kill me sometimes. Yeah. Mark that as a seam. The hand should be fine. And this should be about where the G-Man's was as well. And then I guess, I think I just need to do the pants. No, I need to, right. And I need to mark seam here. Now I gotta remember where the crotch connects. Should I do this? Oh, did I just mark it as clear, sharp, mark, seam? Does that feel correct? Well, I'm definitely missing this. Let me actually mark this as a seam as well. But I do remember when I went to UV editing of, oh, let me, oh wait, this is my guy. Hold up. Let me add textures back. why are you acting like this? Why you gotta be this? Well, there it is. That's why. It was just focused on the camera. I'm just silly. So if I remember correctly, this face right here. Oh, interesting. Oh, that's because I'm hitting the wrong face. Can I see this in... Okay. So they did it so that the very top of the crotch is in line with the suit. So if I now go back to this... So this should not be the seam, and that makes a lot of sense. Clear the seam and put it where it belongs. And then I gotta mark this as seam. And anywhere else. No, I think that's it for the top half. And then I can probably just mark a seam along this back and kind of be done with it. So let me, I guess from here all the way down to here. Oh, I missed one. Oops. So mark all of this as a seam. And then up to here, and then just wrap it around probably. All right, let me see. And that should do it. Yeah, mark all of this as seam. So now there's a bisect in the middle of the leg, so you can't really see it. I might also want another cut, like here on the side. I'll see about that once we decide on how I want to do textures for this. But now all I really need now is just to wrap it. Oops, nope. Oh, did I not mark? Wait, hold up. These aren't all marked as hard or sharp. Yeah, there we go. Yep, and then all of those will also be a seam. Or not, because I didn't click on all of them apparently. Yeah. I think that might be it. And I have to actually unpack these or unwrap these UVs. But I think I've made it pretty easy for myself to basically just do what G-Man does over here. Where I can basically just slap the front on, slap the back on, and do that for everything, except for, I guess, the pants. Actually, just to keep it consistent, I will also actually do this and mark this as a seam as well. Because now everything is front and back. Oh, I guess I'll also need to do the hands if they're gonna... Yeah, I'll have to do the hands. The hands are gonna be weird. I guess... Where would I want to do? I guess probably just around where the fingers would go. Would be my guess. Because I basically just want to put a photoshopped picture of a hand over this. It should let me turn on... Yep, because I need this one. No, not you. No, not you. There we go. And then just mark seam. And that's the at least the top of my hand. I don't know if I want to do the sides per se. But that should be good. And I don't know if how I want to do the shoes. I'm curious how they marked it with him. What is this? It's just a... Yeah. So they just projected the top of a shoe down. I'm sorry, is that blood on his shoes? That's kind of cool. I wonder where that red's supposed to be, because I didn't really see where they would have used that. But yeah, if I'm just projecting the top of a shoe downwards, I don't really need that much detail. Probably just around... What the... Probably just around the sole, to be honest. Would be good enough. So now that I'm looking at it, it's like I want to bring this in a bit, I think. Hmm. Yeah, I think those look a little bit better. And I think also I'm gonna go into line, bring this forward a little bit, and then bring this even more down and back. No, too much. Maybe just a little bit back. And then if I bring this in a little bit, I think that looks a decent amount more like a shoe. And I do need to bring this in a little bit because I do want it to not clip that badly. All right. So I think I need now just to make this here seam. And once I do that, I think I'll do one around this ankle, quote unquote ankle. And then I think those will be all my seams that I need. Okay, let me turn this back. And just gonna neat. I really don't want to do UV unwrapping if I'm being so honest with you. I'm actually gonna take like literally a 2 minute break, I think. Literally just to go grab some stuff for my throat. And then I'm gonna see how much of UV unwrapping I can deal with without wanting to die. So now that this is smooth, I kind of want to fix this thumb. Let me do that before I go. Okay, let's see. That should be fine. That looks at least a little more hand-like. Hand adjacent, if you would. Alright, cool. Now let's see if I can do even halfway decent job at UV unwrapping this guy. Let's see if I even remember. I don't think I do, actually. I may genuinely have to end it here simply because I don't remember how to unwrap. Let's see, is there a... Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, I could probably do this. At least get a start on it. Can I assign... Let me do some colors. Let me do, like, kind of skin tone-ish. Is this how you do it? I genuinely am so bad. I'm so bad at remembering how to do this. Okay, now if I select the face, can I assign there? Yeah, okay, that's how you do it. Cool, cool, cool. All right. I'm remembering now. Oh man, I need my goobers to come back. I need someone to chat to while I lose my mind at UV unwrapping. And then assign you. And then unwrap this. Yeah, honestly, my throat's really starting to hurt. And I did what I really wanted to today, which is start UV unwrapping and finish the model. So I think I actually might call it today. I know it's a little early. I don't want to get in the habit of calling it this early, but I think now is probably a good time. Just call it, because this is going to be really tedious work. So I think I'll just do this and then come back tomorrow and finish it up. So thanks.